Hello and welcome everybody to the first Rogue Company update show, what we hope will be many. My name is Pretty Hair. I'm going to be hosting here today alongside the man you all recognize here, Scott Gandhi, our lead designer on the game. There's going to be a lot of faces, I think, coming and going. There's going to be a lot of people, this is going to be more conversational, I think. We've got Twerk. Scott puts out a lot of videos on Twitter to kind of update you guys, and we want to keep that line of communication open. This update show is going to be a little bit more long form, a little bit more conversational. We get a little bit more in depth in some of these changes. And how you feeling today about all that, Scott?
It's exciting. It's we've been kind of talking about, should we do an update show for a long time? And I think now is a good time when we're talking about season 2. A lot of exciting stuff, a lot of cool features, a lot of design changes. We want to hear your feedback. So I'm excited to get back into this.
He said season 2. That's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. We have a very exciting, very chock full of new stuff patch coming out onto the public test server. That's something that's very important to this process. So we do appreciate everybody that does come out onto the PTS, leaves us feedback, helps us get those kind of last second tweaks in. Really excited. Like we said, this one's going to hit on the weekend, this weekend. So make sure you guys are hopping in there, getting plenty of play time because there's a whole lot of stuff to go over. And we're going to hop into that.
Whew. Nick, I got to be honest, it's a little, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, and I'm like, man, normally I'm the one asking you questions, you're going to be the one asking me questions. It's a role reversal.
That's right.
Not sure how I feel about it.
So obviously with a new season comes a new battle pass, tons of new content and ways to earn that content. We wanted to kind of rework a little bit of how we're doing that, how you guys are unlocking. Right now, or in that first battle pass, it was a lot of just like raw gameplay, just playing the game, playing matches, winning matches. That was a lot of what your battle pass progress was riding on. And Scott, in season 2, we're going to be changing that up just a little bit.
Yeah, so with the battle pass season 2, one of the main features that we wanted to add was the ability for you all to immediately be able to adjust your progress inside of the battle pass. And so we were looking at it and we were like, seasonal contracts or seasonal objectives is what we call it on the dev side, is something that's perfect for this. So inside of battle pass season 2, you will have access to 4 individual weekly contracts that'll release one after another. And inside of there, you complete those challenges and it gives you Battle Pass XP. And it's super fun and they're super engaging. So you get to explore the game in a lot of different ways.
Right. So these weekly challenges open up. What happens if I'm, super quick? Can I get all of these done at the exact same time the second they release?
You can get all of them done inside of a week. So in the first week, when season 2 comes out, you only have access to week 1 challenges. Then you'll have to wait for the next week, and then you'll have week 2 challenges from there.
Do you know off the top of your head if we can go, like, say I'm super slow or maybe I'm on vacation one week, I miss week 1, but I'm able to hop back in week 2. Can I retroactively get all of week 1 done during, any point in the Battle Pass?
Absolutely. We know that everybody has life. And so we kind of built those challenges around that with that idea in mind. So at any point throughout season 2, if you come in, let's say in the final month of season 2, you're going to have access to all 4 of those weekly contracts and you'll be able to complete them at your own pace.
Awesome. So not just these weeklies, but we've got some changes coming to the daily contracts. These will be working very, very similar to those weeklies, Scott, where you can kind of do these just as you've always done. Typically, they would just reward that reputation, but now they'll be awarding Battle Pass XP as well.
Yeah, so this was actually a pretty good community feedback, and we wanted to thank you all for this suggestion.
Yeah,
a lot of people said, hey, I wish daily contracts allowed me or had a direct impact on the Battle Pass season. And I was like, we're going to take that into consideration. And so we had a lot of tuning to do around that on the design side, but we were able to bring that to life. So it's a nice addition, and we're excited for it.
Right. Rather than just playing the game is good, playing the game is nice, but I think having these challenges sort of give you some type of loose direction. It's almost a fun goal to set for yourself to play the game a certain way and to achieve these specific things and still get your battle pass done in a fun and timely manner. Seasonal stuff, obviously the battle pass goes hand in hand with the changing of the seasons, but so does ranked. Our first ranked season split, whatever you want to call it, is going to be coming to an end, and with season 2 kicking off and a fresh ranked season kind of starting, we have a couple of fun changes to talk about with the rogue ban system coming into play.
Yeah, so first up, if you go all the way back in time with Rogue Company, well, when we talked about ranked, we always liked the idea of giving each team a ban, bans and drafts. That's something that's like we hold very near and dear to us at Hirez Studios. If you look at all of our games, they all have bans, and then eventually they have a draft phase. So for us, we felt like we had enough rogues inside of the game that we could institute bans. And so here's how bans are going to work. At the beginning of a ranked match, team 1 is going to be able to ban 1 rogue. Then it's going to flip over to team 2, and they're going to ban the second rogue. of their own choice. Those 2 rogues are banned for the entire game of Demolition. So at halftime, you don't re-ban. So whoever you ban at the beginning is going to carry over into the second half.
Gotcha. Awesome. It says here, bans have also been added to custom games for Demolition, Wingman, and Wingman Strikeout.
And we found out that it also is on Strikeout customs too. So that's a happy accident inside of there. Ultimately, when we look at custom matches, that is for our esports players. Those are the people who run tournaments on the weekend. And even though we don't have a Strikeout ranked, we want to make sure that you had the ability to go ahead and go in there and get some bans in there and kind of create the experience that you actually want.
Yeah, anybody that's running those tournaments, they're going to want to have that system, that competitive experience. We want it to be consistent with what you're playing in game, obviously. So those that are setting up tournaments through custom games, you guys will have access to that feature as well. We have removed...
It also allows me. It also allows me to ban Lancer by default.
There you go. There you go.
She just crumbles my team every time. Get her out.
Remove the restrictions for player rank differences in parties. However, this still exists for placement. So is this my how far my friends can be above or below me when we're trying to queue for ranked?
Yeah. So again, we got a lot of this feedback inside of Ranked Season 1, so we wanted to make sure that we had a very competitive experience inside of Ranked. So one of the things is we were like, okay, well, we're gonna clamp the divisions of how much you could party with someone. So it was 6 divisions up or down. As soon as we put that out there, main community feedback was, I want to play Rogue Company with my friends, regardless of what their division was. And internally, we've had a lot of conversations about this, and we always agreed on one fact. Rogue Company's played best with your friends, and so we're maintaining that here. It is important to note that in placements, you're still going to have the party restriction. But outside of placements, you'll be able to queue with whoever you want.
So in placements, meaning if I am placed, I can't play with a friend who is unplaced.
That is correct, yes.
So once they are placed, you can rock and roll with anyone.
Technically not. So it depends on your rank, right? So if you are gold and below, you can play with someone in placements. If you're above gold, you can't play with anyone in placements.
But once they get placed, wherever they get placed, you'll be able to play with them.
Yeah, totally. So for you, you're not going to be able to play with anyone inside of placements. You're a gold player.
I'll have to place first. So with this, the turning of the seasons, obviously there's a lot to talk about. Bans, what's going to be changing with the meta? I love bans just at face value to be able to mix things up. You might settle on what is considered like a meta ban, but ultimately, if you want to be the one to kind of mix that up, it's a good way to get variety in your games. What's being banned, what's being played, what's being changed though, Scott? We have a lot of rogue changes. If you guys have been following along with the This Week in Rogue Company series on YouTube, we do like to preview some of this stuff, talk about it with you guys ahead of time as it's happening, what we're thinking, why we're thinking it. And you guys, it's just another great forum for you to get your thoughts out to us, and we can take that feedback into consideration. We do have a couple, again, these have already kind of been talked about a little bit on Twerk, but we're going to reiterate them here. We have rogue changes for Fixer and for Sigrid and for Trench that we want to talk about. So first up would be, of course, Fixer. Big changes coming to his tier sniper rifle, Scott.
Yeah, so Fixer is one of my favorite rogues to play and also to experience inside of there, but we know he's polarizing at the high levels. And so when we went into the lab and we were drilling this, it was, okay, well, how do we get Fixer in line and make sure that he doesn't break at the high level and he's rewarding at every other level, right?
For sure.
And so that was a big piece. When we changed the sniper and we nerfed it, we kind of, admittedly, I gutted this thing. You got that 96 headshot damage at 45 meters. No one's going to feel good about a 96 damage headshot, right?
Right.
So we looked at it and we said, okay, what would make the Fixer sniper feel good and also rewarding for the player? And ultimately, we decided to go all the way back to what it was inside of the design prototype phase of the kit, and it is a one-shot sniper now. So you fire once and you go immediately into your reload. And what this does is this allows you as a player to know that, okay, Fixer shot once, he's going to be reloading inside of the smoke. And so instead of getting caught with two body shots, you're just going to, if you don't get headshotted, you're still in the fight. And you also don't have to deal with the double body shot. We know that was hyper polarizing for a lot of people.
Yeah, takes away a little bit from that fantasy of kind of who Fixer is. He is the, I'm taking that singular shot. I'm going to hit it with high precision right where I need it to be to get the job done. I think we made some great strides around the glasses as well. When you are active, when you're seeing through the smoke,
good point.
You will have a little bit of, did some treatment, kind of the VFX around his glasses to make him a little bit easier to actually spot out inside of his smoke. So you at least have a you have a prayer. You have a chance. You're not just kind of swinging wildly, blindly through the smoke to try and counterplay him out.
And I think it's a really good point. The final piece inside of there is that he also had access to shredder rounds. And as soon as we made the change to the one-shot sniper, I was like, I don't think he's really ever going to be shredding through an anvil shield.
Not a big shredder guy.
So when we looked at that, we recently added Toughen Up on Sigrid. And we were like, well, this is a perfect candidate to get Toughen Up. So both Fixer and Trench later on are both going to receive Toughen Up. And I think that helps fit their kit a little bit better.
Yeah, speaking of Trench, segueing into our next rogue that we're going to be changing. Again, previewed this a little bit ago on This Week in Rogue Company, but the Trip Mines are going to be seeing a return to Trench. Traditionally, a pretty hard rogue to figure out how to get a lethal gadget on, but I think we're feeling pretty good about this one, Scott.
Yeah, the Trip Mines really fit Trench's play style overall. When you're playing Trench, like you're thinking of a map like Factory, you throw down your APSs, you throw your 2 barbed wires, and you really are fortifying location. Like our defenders are really more zone control, area control rogues inside of there. And the Trip Mine allows Trench, especially in Strikeout, where we know Trench underperforms, to set up for his team and watch their flank, right? So now you do have an answer to a Lancer or to, even though Glitch is a counter, if he's not paying attention, you can still catch him on there. You have the ability to watch your team's back with this gadget, which we found to be probably the best use case for him. But we've tried so many different lethal gadgets on Trench at this point, and the Trip Mine's the one that feels the best.
Yeah, he ends up feeling too breachery if he's throwing any type of explosive down range. So we're feeling good about the Trip Mine being re-added to the game, but specifically onto Trench. Moving on, you mentioned Toughen Up, and I think Sigrid is the perfect rogue to talk about, the one that perk was debuted on. We feel very good about what Toughen Up has done to Sigrid in her overall feel, what situations she sort of excels in, and how she's playing out. We're going to take that a step further with making her completely immune to melee damage when her shield is deployed.
I think this one for me can just be boiled down to something super simple, right? It is hard for players, and myself included, to understand that someone can punch through a shield, right?
Yeah.
We did this from a balance
right after you block their C4 explosion.
Yeah, you block all the explosives, but then Seeker can come through and punch you. This little 18-year-old kid throwing a punch. Get it out of here. But that was one of those things that we were afraid of how strong the Riot Shield was during development, and we said, okay, well, maybe we know what a Riot Shield does inside of a shooter, especially one for us where gunplay is king.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that it didn't override the gameplay inside of there. And now, after we've seen all the balance changes, we think it's time for her to have immunity to melee to just get her into the sweet spot, right? Where she's keeps inching forward, and I think she's going to be in a good spot.
Yep, just to clarify what I said earlier, this is still, it's not complete immunity to melee, it's directionally immune to melees. Obviously, you still need to get the shield in front of that melee attack. If you still get hit from behind by a melee, you're going to take that damage and potentially go down. Moving on to Glitch, his hack range is going to be increased from 20 meters to 25 meters.
Yeah, this one, ultimately, we view this one as a quality of life. In addition to that, there's a side note that we can touch on in the EMP that I'll do after this. But when you think about Glitch is at his best inside of Demolition.
Yeah.
And the map that's the hardest for attackers to get through is High Castle, right? It's one of the hardest ones. Same thing with Factory. Those two maps, Glitch needs to be able to put himself in a position to kind of destroy the enemy defenses. With his current range, he's not able to do that. So now, inside of, like, if you're playing Factory and you're pushing the small courtyard, you don't have to move up at all to destroy the APSs that are set up on that or a barricade. You can do that from right on the outside of it, and that just makes him feel a little bit better. In addition to that, we made a change to the logic of EMPs. So before, if you got hit by an EMP or a glitch hack, right, and you had a grenade out, you could still throw that grenade. Now, with this change, we're saying, oh, you have your grenade out, or you have your ability out and you get hit by an EMP or glitch, you got to put that away.
Right.
So before, what would happen is people be like, oh, hack detected. And they'd just be like, all right, I'm going to pull out my grenade and I'm going to just say, you know, now you can't do that anymore.
I did it all the time.
Yeah. Who does it? Yeah. Right. You're playing Vi and you're like, okay, cool, glitch. I'm going to just.
It's like, it's as soon as you start to see the hack coming out, you just you want to like, I pull out my secret shield, start throwing stuff.
Yeah.
And you try to dump it all before it happens. It's going to be a good change, I think, for Glitch. He's a pretty niche character as it is. So I like we're keeping an eye on him. We're kind of nudging him in a direction. Places we feel he could be a little bit stronger. We're taking those opportunities to kind of do so, to see if is this role going to work out for Glitch? We're going to lean heavily into kind of his fantasy, his role. I'm going to destroy everything around me. I'm the elite hacker of the world. And we want him to kind of feel like that when you're playing, because he's one of the damn coolest characters in the game, and a lot of people play him just for that reason. And we want them to feel vindicated there.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there, which is that, you know, we're keeping an eye on Glitch still. So we think this change is going to bump him to a pretty good position, but we're still looking at more changes based on the results on this one. So we put Glitch out here, and we feel like it's not enough. We would love to hear any and all feedback from you all as to what you think would be the icing on the cake.
That's right. Moving on, though, big ticket perk here, Tenacity, one of the most talked about, probably one of the most picked up, most changed perks. Very, very powerful tier 2 explosive damage reduction. We've gone back and forth on where we want this to be priced, how effective we want it to be, and we are going to be changing it back to its old price point of 8,000, but we will be upping the effectiveness, Scott, back to 40%.
Yeah, this one's going to kind of lead into the next talking point as well, which we'll get into, but ultimately, when we made the change to explosives, we felt pretty confident in the fact that if you were to spend a lot of money to upgrade a gadget, that you should be able to counter Tenacity. And what we did on the design side was we said, oh, okay, well, there's a counter to it, which is if you have Tenacity plus Headstrong, you're able to counter the gadgets inside of there. Unfortunately, Tenacity and Headstrong are only featured on 3 rogues. And what we found through the weekend tournaments ran by CMG, as well as inside of rank data, as well as Strikeout, which is actually oddly enough more prevalent in Strikeout because you come back with grenades every time you respawn, is that people just don't really like dying to explosives every time and not having an answer, right? You're not getting the gunplay, and that's the most important piece of Rogue Company, right? Like, a core pillar of our gameplay has always been, and our design, has been that gunplay is king. Devices, abilities, they complement the gameplay. They don't override it. And so this change kind of brings it back in there and say, okay, if you have Tenacity, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. You're not going to just die inside of it. Anyway.
Speaking of gunplay being king, we're making some pretty big changes to the body shot time to kill of most of our weapons in the game. And this is something, like you mentioned, was going to go hand in hand with gunplay being king. That's been something that's, you know, stapled up on the wall for the Rogue Company team to see. It applies to a lot of things that we do, and it's a really core mantra, I think, to the game. We love the gunplay. We know you guys love the gunplay, and we want to make sure that that stays the central focus to your gameplay and to your success.
Yep. And so here's the deal. Here's what's happening in here. Okay. When we look at the data on the back end, the design side, when we're looking at the accuracy of weapons, we're looking at hip fire and the engagements people are getting into, the distances, et cetera, we realize that obviously in a third-person shooter, you got reticle bloom. Yeah. And so there's times where you just have inconsistency. Right. And one of the ways that we can make it more consistent is by upping body damage, right? And so what we've done is, so headshot time to kill is the exact same as it is. We haven't touched any of that. What we've done is basically reduced 1 shot per every gun by just upping the body damage enough. And so what that allows us to have is a more consistent experience throughout the entire match. Instead of those moments where we're like, oh man, I can't believe the bloom hit me and I didn't get that headshot. That's not as big of a factor anymore. Yeah. And what's been nice about this is that this has benefited everybody inside of the studio, from casual players to the more competitive guys like me and Nick. Yeah, me and Pretty Hair. And so benefits that we get, that we got a lot more consistency, and you can kind of gun down one person after another. Nick, I'm curious about your take on this, even though I already know it because we drilled it. But.
Yeah, I think that the part that I resonate with the most of what you said is that just the fact that this is a bloom-based shooter, it's not like those perfectly consistent recoil patterns that you have to kind of learn and play around to leverage some type of really crazy fast headshot time to kill. It is still bloom based. There is some random elements to it, and those random elements are drastically reduced when you're shooting for the body, which is how I play. Quite frankly, I don't really often shoot for headshots unless I know it's a damn sure thing that I'm going to hit them. So that's what I'm resonating with most, is that you're just getting a more consistent experience. Players who are newer to the game might be able to sneak up on somebody, get some kills quicker. Players that are more experienced, like Scott or I, if you're in a situation, you might be able to pull off cooler clips, 1v3s, 1v4s that you might not have otherwise been able to, because you're able to kind of burn through those bodies very quickly. I've loved these changes. I think a lot of people in the studio-wide test have been enjoying them. and really excited to get these out to you guys and get some feedback on them. That's going to do it for our balance section, though, guys.
Yep.
We have a quick little thing to glance at here. We've updated Lancer's model, actually, and this is a really cool thing. You know,
Yeah.
we'll take them when we can get them. Neither Scott or I are artists, but kind of as this train moves along, all those artists, they get better at their craft, new tools, new people, new experiences, and sometimes those can be retrofitted to some older rogues. So Lancer's getting a little bit of a touch up here. You can see the old on the left versus the new on the right. Really excited for that one. One of my favorite characters. I think definitely a fan favorite character to play. A little bit more ready to rock and roll. She's smiling. Looking good to go.
She looks more like the Lancer that we talk and love. You know what I mean? Like that's really the best way. And when I look at those changes, I'm like, man, Kenzie and the art team just crushed it. She just looks like she looks like the social media influencer now. You know,
fast, fun-loving, high-energy, high-speed gameplay. Lancer, one of my favorites, probably always will be. Very excited to talk about this next piece, though, Scott. King of the Hill. We've done a lot of game modes recently, a lot of LTMs, things that you guys liked, maybe didn't like so much. You guys are giving us great feedback along the road, but this is the one. This is the one, Scott. We are all loving this one studio-wide. It has been very, very well received internally.
So look, King of the Hill, you guys, if you follow me on Twitter, you know, I tweeted this out a little bit. I was like, man, this game mode is so fun. It is both competitive and has that I want to play one more game inside of there. And so for us, you know, King of the Hill, we've known that the community's wanted it for a long time. We've talked about it. We knew one of the things that it does the best is that you get to experience Rogue Company fights and engagements and the combat puzzles that just naturally create themselves when you play rogues inside of our game at all the different areas of the map. You know, there's constant movement. So when you play Strikeout, you know, there's one point in one fixed location and it's there for a whole round. This, it's going to move. And it's a lot of fun just rotating and getting in those engagements.
Yeah, one of the best things for me personally about King of the Hill is that a lot of these hills, when we can do it, we've placed them in places on the maps that you wouldn't otherwise be playing. So sometimes you get to experience these combat arenas that are just otherwise not heavily utilized in like a demolition or a strikeout. You're also getting to experience new spawns. Like one thing that we did that kind of was very near to the finish line almost before we put this out on a PTS was there will be spawns that you're just not used to getting. These spawns are going to flip. They're going to rotate around the maps, depending on where the hill is as well. The hills will activate and deactivate new spawns. It's very dynamic. It's very different. Every time you come back to life in this respawn mode of King of the Hill, you're going to feel like you have this whole new like oyster to kind of experience that. Which way am I going to go? Where is the hill? Where are my teammates? You have a lot of fun choices to make. And I think our buddy Brad did a lot of great work on this spawn system and making it feel very good and very, very different.
Yeah. And so at this point, everyone's probably asking themselves, well, how's it work?
Yeah.
You guys are a round-based game? Is it one, you know? And so we can go ahead and touch on it. So how King of the Hill works in Rogue Company is that it's a best of 3. Okay. So you start off and you got $13,000. Inside of there, you know, you get your primary, you get your gadget, or you get a perk, whatever character it is. Then from there, the match starts. On average, almost all of our maps have about, on average, we have 4 points per map.
Right.
I think every single map that we ended up shipping is 4 points on each map. So the hills, every hill is active for 75 seconds, and then it moves in a set pattern around the map.
Yep.
And then from there, the team who's got the most tickets at the end of it, or if they reach 150 points, they win that round. Now, the fun part of King of the Hill in a round-based game is there was very quickly we ran into a situation where mathematically a team could just be out. And so what do we do about that? And what we decided to do, and Nick, I'm going to turn this over to you to just kind of touch on it a little bit, is we created a brand new sudden death rule that alleviates all these issues and keeps the intensity high.
That's right. I mean, we had a great comeback today, right? It's the last hill. You guys are out of round time, depending on what side of the coin you're on. If you're out of time, the round is going to over, but your team is down and you are controlling the hill. The game will go into sudden death, and you can play that round as long as it takes. As long as you keep a foot inside of the hill, the round will continue on, and you can win the round. The second you surpass the enemy team, in points, you guys will win the round. Likewise, if the enemy team is able to wipe you out for even a fraction of a second, you don't control the hill during sudden death, that round will end and it will go to your enemies. Very, very fun way. Have some awesome comebacks, some nail-biting moments in King of the Hill. Super excited for you guys to get to this one on the PTS. It's our favorite game mode yet. Moving on, though, guys, login rewards, something we're also very excited for. We want you to come in, have a good time, have something to do. We've got all these new challenges set up. Your daily contracts are working towards your battle pass now. We've got the login rewards. Lots of stuff to just come every single day, see, do, receive in Rogue Company.
Yeah, so here's the monthly login reward, right? So you guys have we've talked about this in the past, and every once in a while I see a Reddit post like, where's this login event they were talking about?
Yeah.
It's here. We were getting there. Bear with us.
Be patient with us.
We love you. We love you. So how this works is that every day you log in inside of Rogue Company, you're going to claim a reward for 10 days. You can miss a day. It doesn't matter. Inside of when that monthly login event is active, as long as you log in 10 days, you're going to get all the rewards. Inside of there, you are going to be able to earn 150 Rogue bucks. You're going to be able to earn weapon. This month is a weapon wrap. Then you're also able to unlock boosters, some reputation, and just have a pretty damn good time. So this is what you can expect. 150 Rogue bucks is this first month, and every month, who knows, it could be something else. That's for us to surprise you all with. But yeah, for the big thing here is that you don't have to log in every single day to get it. You got to log in 10 times, right? We know you all have a life, we have a life, and we build that with that in mind. Just
like those weekly challenges, if you miss a couple, it's okay. You will pick right back up where you left off. We talked a lot about Battle Pass challenges, login rewards. Let's start showing off some of what we've got going on in this battle. Is it that time? It is that time. Let's get into that Battle Pass. Let's see some of that juicy content we know you guys are all here for. We've shown you how you're going to be earning it, but now let's show you what exactly you're going to be earning. There's a lot of awesome stuff in this one. Similarly structured when you buy into the Battle Pass with that premium tier, that premium track, you're going to be receiving the 20% bonus to the Battle Pass XP that you earned. You're going to unlock a skin right off the rip, a primary wrap, and a 1-hour booster just to get you off to the races. A lot of good stuff in this one. But there's also that elite bundle, Scott, which includes even another skin, I believe, if you want to go that way. Yeah. And so when you buy that elite bundle, obviously you get all the way to tier 15, right? And tier 15 is this, I forget the final name that we settled on, but it's this amazing gold skin Lancer. Golden Absk Lancer. Absk. Maybe I just didn't want to say it because I have a hard time pronouncing it, but man, that skin, whew, I love that one, man. It's amazing. The material work on it is just second to none. It is absolutely stunning. And so for those of you who are wondering why, so the main skin that you get when you purchase the Battle Pass, right? That first one up front, right? It's going to be Prison Break Ronin, I believe is the final name. Prison Break Ronin. And so some of you are wondering what's going on with Ronin. She in prison. We're going to get into that later on. But yeah, she's doing hard time right now. Yeah, Ronin is in some trouble. So let's head to the Battle Pass screen here and see exactly what that's going to look like. Like we mentioned, you can see it right above all three of those little thumbnails, the instant 1-hour account boost, the instant weapon wrap unlock, and of course, the instant unlock of the Prison Break Ronin. There she is. She's got the head shaved. She's got the orange jumpsuit on, but she's got her own Ronin flair to it, and the katana reverse grip. I mean, she's looking pretty fierce, looking pretty hard. God, dude, she just got like instantly battle hardened, didn't she? Yeah. She's been in jail for like a week, and she's already looking that way. You know what I mean? Like, also, not for nothing, but you would think with Ronin, they'd probably like shackle up her wrists, not necessarily her neck, you know? Looks like they tried. I mean, she's got something on the wrist, but she might have broken free there. I mean, she's definitely a fierce one for sure. We'll go ahead and start rocking through some of this Battle Pass content for you guys. This is, like we mentioned, what you will receive instantly upon purchasing into the Season 2 Battle Pass. We got the Say Cheese common spray there. We got the House Party emote. And a little bit of that Golden Tiger melee weapon wrap action here. Let's scroll on over to the next screen here. We wanted to talk a little bit about the Golden Absk Lancer skin. which you will be receiving. Of course, lots of great goodies sprinkled along the way to it. This is tier 15, and there she is. You will receive this if you go for the Elite Bundle, which is the same as the regular bundle, plus 15 levels instantly unlocked for you. And there she is in all her glory. You were talking about the material, Scott. My goodness.
God.
That is next level.
Doesn't it look great? I mean, the art team just absolutely crushed it. I love those sunglasses too.
Yeah.
She's just full of drip. I wish I was a fraction as cool as that.
Let's get that.
But unfortunately,
I'm rotate.
kind of
I think she's got a. It looks like she's got. I think it's a Euro symbol. Something. She's got something.
Hit that rotate real quick.
Yeah. Look at the fade is looking clean. We got the Euro stitched in. Beautiful stuff there. We'll keep on scrolling. Urban Explorer Glitch is another key skin that we were talking about. This is one, like we mentioned, it's been pinned up on the Rogue Company art wall in the studio for a long time. Super excited about that one. Lots of great skins and wraps all sprinkled throughout this battle pass. And there he is, the man himself. This is attached to tier 33, I believe. So fairly deep into the pass, only for those brave of heart.
I love the smiley face on his chest. Looks so good. But really, you know, the whole outfit is something that I feel like I need to wear if I ever went hiking, you know, but I wouldn't, you know, because it would cost too much money. But like, I feel like that he's got everything checked.
Yeah.
Moisture
wicking.
His face mask is so cool looking too. You know?
Yeah. The goggles. It's a kind of, Glitch is, you know, he's so vocal. He's a bit of a character. This looks more like the kind of more muted, you don't really know what this guy's up to, but he's very important to the mission. He doesn't say much, but he sees everything. Very kind of cool take on Glitch. Loving seeing this one rock and roll around. I hope we haven't passed by the Scaducci primary wrap yet. That's one of our gun maps.
No, I think that's towards the end.
Oh boy,
Sir Nick.
We've got some great wraps there. That's another the Fruity Pebbles melee wrap there. Of course, we want to take a look at that Scaducci wrap. That's been one of, I think, the big hits. Glitch has one of those skins. Dima has one of those skins. Secret has one of those skins. It's a big hitter for sure. And there it is in all of its glory. Black and gold, man. I mean, you can't miss with that. That's just
dollar signs on deck. The cool part about this is, so I don't know how many of you are like me, but I like my rogues to be matching, right? So if I got Scaducci, Sigrid on, I want to make sure that I got a wrap that complements it. And now I got the full set.
You want to match that full
huge.
set, baby. It is huge. A lot of good stuff on that tier. Look at tier 42. There's a couple of awesome wingsuit skins actually as well. And what's super cool about these is that they are animated. This is the ultimate burn wingsuit. We've got a shattered glass one as well. Really cool looks for some of these wingsuit skins. There's been some pretty sweet ones in the game, but obviously this animation here to those textures is what takes it to a whole new level. So you got your Scaducci wrap, your skin. Maybe you want to go rock that Urban Explorer Glitch, something new for you here in the wingsuit department as well. We have to kind of round out the look and make sure everybody gets something they're going to love.
Yeah, this one looks really good when you're flying into, right? That's where you get to really peacock it when you're flying in with it, and it makes you feel good. And you're like me, and you want to feel good about yourself, so you play Scorch every once in a while.
Yeah.
This one really ties her all together.
We're getting pretty close to the end. Before we do, I want to go find that shattered glass wingsuit, and then we'll head towards the end. So I have two requests for our cameraman. I need to see the shattered glass wingsuit, and I need you to set Anvil as your favorite rogue. And I'm not going to tell you why until we get to the final 5 tiers.
I actually don't know why you're asking.
Oh, you'll see. You'll see in due time,
I don't like
my friend.
Secrets, Nick. We talk about transparency.
It's there's an emote coming up. There's an emote coming up towards the end of the battle pass, and it is best viewed through the lens of our big meaty man Anvil. There it is. This is the shattered glass epic wingsuit. Of course, the animated textures there looking really, really good. I think this is my probably favorite of the two animated wingsuits there. Looking clean, looking very clean.
Yeah, it looks great.
Good stuff.
And for those of you, I know right now as we're getting set up, some of you are wondering, what's Justicar? What was that all about? There's a lot of pieces of Justicar in here. We're not done with Justicar yet, so I'm going to save it. But just know, we're going to hit it right at the end. Just gotta wait. We need patience from you.
Lots
Patience.
of narrative content starting to spin up around the Rogue Company universe. We're just breadcrumbing you right now. We're kind of setting the stage. We're putting
Drip
little
feed.
avatars, little notes, little hints, little skins, little things that are all planned to be tied together kind of as we rock and roll and move forward into this season.
Know it.
That's right. And
You
I
know
hope our
it.
cameraman has got Anvil selected as we move into the final 5 tiers where we are
I
chock
know
full.
why.
Now it's becoming clear.
It's all clear.
Clear. Oh, yes. Yes, Brother Anvil.
Oh,
Let
my
the people
God.
know.
I hate
Let
you.
them see you shine, brother. Yes. Ah, God.
I
Blessed.
mean, look.
Those of you that reach
What?
tier 46, you will be blessed
Here's
with the bullet dodge back.
here's the thing, right?
Did I make the right call or not?
You did. You made the right call. Sometimes, throughout when we're developing a lot of this stuff, I always try to wait to see what animation has in store for me, right? When it comes to emotes, because this team just knocks it out of the park. And when I saw this one without the water and without anything else, I was like, I'm not seeing it. And I saw it early, right?
Yeah.
I saw it early. I was like, I don't know. Then they added everything else, and I was like, it's my favorite emote in the game. It's so good.
Let's be candid. I mean, there's a lot of video games out there with a lot of great skins. There's a lot of video games out there with a lot of great gun skins, but I'm pretty much willing to die on the hill of Rogue Company probably has the best emotes in the game. I'll go toe-to-toe with Fortnite on this one. I mean, they got nothing on the bullet dodge ballet here, man.
Dude,
this
it's
is
good.
Our animation squad that absolutely crushes this emotes.
And not to mention the VFX, right?
Yeah.
Nick Reed and his team crushed this one. Amazing job all around. Nothing but smiles for me.
Yeah, this is a fun
All right,
one.
Nick, what you got next for me?
Up next, the RGB primary weapon wrap. This is a really, really cool one for sure. We had the Scaducci, but no gamer is complete without their uncomfortable racing chair and their RGB lighting throughout their battle station. So let's get you outfitted head to toe here. Let's lean into it and rock and roll, baby.
God,
That looks.
it
good,
looks
man.
so good. And again, you can start putting together these sets, right?
That's right.
And this one has me excited because I love when we do the little bit of animation inside.
Oh yeah,
it ties it all together for me. So super cool to see.
Yep, and we've got the title there on the next tier, and then you can kind of see it spoiled in the thumbnail, but the penultimate skin here for the Season 2 Battle Pass after you unlock the infamous title is the Wasteland Scavenger Phantom. There she
is awesome. So this Phantom, right, comes with a custom voice pack, so you got different voice lines inside of there. She's
beautiful.
What would you say, Nick? A little darker, maybe? Humor-wise?
She's a little more...
What's the word you would use?
Just kind of reckless with it, right? Like Phantom at face value, it's very cold, controlled, almost just a little socially awkward. And not to say this one doesn't have some of that. This one is the fire and blood, if you will. This is kind of unhinged a little bit. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm rocking actually the re-entry, the flaming animated wingsuit with this one.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what weapon wrap I would.
That's a good point. It's a good point. I think
that's something I did it on Paladins. I'm gonna do it here. Like, what am I mixing and matching? What's gonna be Pretty Hair's look here with this new content drop?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Look at the back. So it's really she's like the maniacal Phantom at this point. This is altered ego a lot. She's just reimagined in a different way, personality-wise and visually. And this one is a lot of fun to play just because, again, the voice packs, the team did a really good job on nailing it. The
voice pack is a huge part. I mean, forever and always, I think the voice pack for me, it's one of my favorite parts about a character, period, because that's their personality. That's what gives them the soul. And I think that's what's really exciting about this skin is having that new voice pack. It feels almost like you're going to be getting a completely new character when you equip this to your Phantom gameplay. So super excited,
Lots
guys.
of great stuff.
That's it, man. That is it. The penultimate skin reward there, the Wasteland Scavenger Phantom. That is the Season 2 Battle Pass. Lots of other cool goodies sprinkled throughout, but those are kind of the big hitters. Those are the ones that we kind of felt most excited about, so we wanted to rock and roll with those. No season would be complete, though, without a new map. So, of course, we had to bring you guys one of those. Scott, Breach. You've been talking a lot about the narrative, the skins, Justicar. Who are they? What's happening to Ronin? What's she gotten herself into? And Breach is going to play no small part in that journey.
Yeah, all those little pieces. So, start off with Breach. Shall we transition into the match? Okay. Here's where we're at. Here's where we're at. Jackal lost Hollows. And to Jackal never knew that Rogue Company had any intelligence at all on them. And they were completely taken aback. They go, oh my God, how did Rogue Company know where we're at? We need to launch a counterattack onto them, destroy a lot of their data and their intelligence, all surrounding around Jackal. So Jackal launched the attack on the training facility, which is Breach. And their goal was to remove any trace of Jackal from the databases of Rogue Company. Now, fortunately for Rogue Company, Justicar arrives in the middle of the attack. Now, Justicar, they're basically like the police force. These are the great people who are all good. They are lawful good, by the book, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And why they're there? Well, Justicar arrives because they're trying to arrest Dima, right? And if you're wondering why they're trying to arrest Dima and why Ronin's in jail, it's because if you remember back to the cinematic when we launched Rogue Company, well, Dima and Ronin kind of kill like 8 or 10 people out in the middle of the streets of Miami without any justification inside of there. So Justicar arrives looking for Dima. To their surprise, they see the training facilities under attack. Justicar comes in, thwarts the attack, sends them away. But Dima is not at this location, so the hunt for Dima continues, but Justicar managed to stop Jackal from taking all the information from Rogue Company.
Gotcha. So Rogue Company is safe from Jackal, but not from Justicar for the time being. Rogue Company has to answer to someone. Everyone has to answer to someone.
That's
Ronin has met her maker. She is in jail, cuffed by the hands of Justicar, and Dima is next on their hit list for the events taking place in that very first teaser trailer, that very first high fidelity cinematic you guys probably saw ever in the Rogue Company universe. So it is time to answer for their crimes. This is the newest map, Breach. Super excited to get into this one, start running around a little bit. You guys are kind of seeing the high level here. We'll have that rocked up for you in just a moment here, but lots of really cool gameplay elements you can see. We've got helipads, we've got zip lines, we've got these destructible walls here in this sort of training range, shooting gallery-esque. Really, really cool. This window right here it's a one-way hop that you can only jump out of it down into middle. You can't drop from the middle of the map back up into this. So lots of cool tactical decisions to make on this one. Pretty sweet. Again, this plus King of the Hill, guys, is a great way to kind of see the map. King of the Hill is probably the best way to see every single map, just because you're going to be rotating around. You're going to be seeing a lot of things. Beachheads, you're going to be playing different flows, right? Demolition, it flows kind of one way. One side's attacking, one side's defending. There's a lot of cool ways to see this map, especially through the eyes of the King of the Hill.
Nick, cycling back real quick, we're talking about narrative of this map and everything else. Now, you start to wonder, like you got Justicar, and we're going to be introduced very shortly to a premier person of Justicar. You kind of wonder who at Jackal called the attack, right? Is it a series of people? Is it only one person? Is it just a mob of people who hate Rogue Company? Like, I wonder if we're going to meet any of those people in the future.
Yeah, we've got a lot on its way for you guys. Narrative breadcrumbs are starting to lead to some bigger pieces of these puzzles actually being put into the picture, and we're starting to get a couple of those revealed. Very excited for all of that. And here we are, folks, the newest map in Rogue Company, Breach, and our good cameraman Brett is going to be controlling the map that you are all seeing here. So this is it, man. This is the new character. We're going to get to him in a little bit, Scott, but we want to talk a little bit here about Breach. This is a demolition custom game, so these are just the demolition sites that you were kind of seeing here and then just spoiling a little bit, but a lot of fun stuff to talk about here.
Yeah, I think one of the main things when we were building this map specifically, we wanted to create a map that resonated really well for our demolition players. So we really focused on the transition timing, the rotation times, excuse me, from A to B, and making sure that going one way, it came with some consequences, and the strategy around how you move through the map was very important to us. And we drilled this map a lot longer than our previous maps, just because we had the ability to do so. Because of it, we turned out pretty awesome map that works on all of our game modes, which is always a major win for us, right? Like Strikeout plays really well on here. King of the Hill kind of built pretty much perfectly for it in some ways. And so that was happy to see. That was a happy accident in some ways, because King of the Hill wasn't around when we were prototyping this map.
Definitely. So Stealth and I right now we're rocking in from the kind of the attacker's beachhead. This will be the middle kind of section of the maps. My favorite thing, because I'm a squirrel, I don't like to stand still for very long.
No, you don't.
These little hopovers to get from mid to kind of either side. Love these kind of quick access routes. If you come up mid and you don't like what you see, or vice versa, you're coming up B and you don't like what you see, you can kind of flip over to mid really quickly. Love like the quick rotations, quick exchange, a lot of ways to route from one side to the other. We're going to take a quick peek here at this A site, because it has some of the cooler features, like the one-way hop-up that we mentioned during that fly-in. This is that. And
also, so here's a big piece. Go ahead and shoot some of this cover. Shoot some of these targets, if you don't mind, sir. Mr. Stealth, the targets. Okay, well, you destroyed that wall. So that wall actually will come down upon taking damage. And then if you come out into the jungle area, so if you don't mind, or just shooting this cover destroys when you shoot it. So you got sometimes you can't get back there. Don't worry about that piece. There's times in Rogue Company where people are behind cover, and we've telegraphed this to say, okay, if someone's there, destroy it, put them out. And now it turns into medium cover from there. So you still have crouch cover, but you don't have the full cover anymore. And so you can destroy this with an explosive, a melee, or by shooting.
Rock and roll. And then just like that other side of the map, this is that one-way hop-up that we were talking about. You can go from this sort of internal A area, attacking and drop out into mid, but this is, like we mentioned, the one-way, so you can't get back up once you have hopped out. It's very committal action, so it's not exactly symmetrical with the other hop-over, but lots of cool, interesting variants to that side of the map.
Yeah,
that's kind of it. That's Breach, guys. We'll leave you to kind of explore and discover the rest of it yourself. A little bit of zipline action here in the beachhead. Most of this stuff is only coming into play for defender rotations and stuff like that on demolition. But like we mentioned, King of the Hill points, super fun to play with. As the song of our people, we ride together into the sunset on the zipline together.
Next round. There's it in the flesh, everybody.
That is it.
All right, Nick, here's the thing. We saw it. Everybody now is saying, okay.
I love it. I know what chat's saying. I don't even have to look.
Yeah, I get it. I know. But come on. Get this. Tell me. It's a new rogue.
Yes, it is.
Inside of Rogue Company.
He wanted me to do something with him so bad, but I didn't give it to him.
This specifically is the first defender we've released since going into open beta. The last defender we had was Vi.
A long time.
A long time coming. Now, set the stage real quick for you guys on who Mack is. Mack Daddy, as we like to say inside of the dev team. We don't. I just came up with that right now. It's an easy one. But so, Mack is the head of this Just a Car Strike Force. He is lawful good. And he cares above all else following the rules and making sure that if you disobey the rules of engagement or just the laws in general, he's going to come for you. So he's got a vendetta out there for Ronin and Demon. He's got video footage from the cinematic of them killing people in the streets.
That's right.
Rogue
HD,
Company
baby.
aren't the police. So they didn't have any right.
if you will.
Yeah. So Nick, obviously, normally I would be the one to talk about this character, but you're the one who designed Mack from start to finish. We set the high-level goals. We knew we had a defender. We wanted to do that. Walk me through everything about Mack.
Yeah, so a big piece for Mack when we kind of set out, obviously he has his personality that we kind of set at a high level, but we're also setting at that time things like his gameplay pillars. All right, he's going to be a defender. It's going to be a device that's planted in the world, that's going to live in the world. It's not going to be any type of stim or movement speed, something like that. No type of buff. Exactly what this is that it is a defender, kind of localized area. It's a device that I'm planting in the world. It's non-lethal. Don't worry though, it definitely
that's
packs
a big
punch.
piece.
That was a big key to it. It's non-lethal, but it still needs to pack a punch, and that was definitely a big part of Mack's design and the iteration of how do we kind of marry those two things together. Versus something like Trench is like a guy. It's more of a low impact, but it's on a charge system. I've got multiple. I'm going to come back. I'm going to get some more. There's a lot of things to kind of juggle within that.
So we're looking at the kit. Everyone knows the objection is the SMG. It excels close range, but we got 2 new toys here for Mack. We got a brand new LMG called the Conviction. Go ahead and equip that for me if you don't mind, Mr. Cameraman Stealth. We also have a brand new melee weapon as well called the Claymore, which we'll dive into in a second. So go ahead and buy the Claymore as well. And then let's go ahead and hop in.
For sure. The Conviction
here's
LMG
the thing.
as well as the Claymore.
So here's a big talking point, right? And it's all about this LMG. So we have the MO, set time left 1, and then cool. We have the Maul right now, which is on Anvil. That's our first LMG. It's our only LMG inside of the game. And we knew for Mack, Mack is all about big firepower, suppressive, making sure that he can hold the lines no matter what. And so an LMG really fit him. So one of the things that we rallied behind was, well, we have an LMG already that kind of gets the bloom. Let's try something else. Let's try something that you gain accuracy. And Nick, I want you to walk me through the fire behavior of the LMG.
Yeah, so it starts out, it's a light machine gun. It's big, it's heavy. It starts out a little bit inaccurate. I've got my God mode cheat activated here, so you can shoot me if you want, Brett. But from a distance, it's going to start out a little bit worse than most of your ARs that you're going to be playing with. But very quickly, within the first bullet or two, this is going to start being competitive, probably with where most ARs and most LMGs and SMGs, most guns in Rogue Company are going to be at this point after 2 bullets. The difference is the Conviction is coming up from a place of inaccuracy to a place of accuracy. So where those guns continue to get worse, the Conviction continues to get better. And you can see that crosshair starting to tighten up to a point. It doesn't get perfectly accurate, but it gets damn close after a couple of shots. So this is great with this giant clip that every LMG is destined to sport. And you can use that after, I think it's about 6 or so bullets. You're going to hit that really, really tight accuracy. Maximum of 70 bullets once you start to upgrade the Conviction, and you can really start to drill people, suppress, and be very accurate and very deadly from long distances.
Now, one of the things that really helps when you're playing King of the Hill and Strikeout is that the accuracy buff also applies to hip fire. So if you don't aim over shoulders real quick and you just let this ride, there's those times in Rogue Company where people are all up in your grill. And our hip fire accuracy, we never go this tight ever. And so when Mack's in a bad scenario, he's got a lot of people in there, he can lay down the hammer, and it packs a punch.
We did a lot of work on this gun and how it's sort of refactored and programmed on the back end. Shout outs to my boy Zach to get this one in a great feeling spot. So when you're shooting your bullets, your ADS, you're rocking, you hit that max accuracy cap. The cool thing about this Conviction is it's sort of remembering how many bullets you fired, so that if you happen to zoom out of ADS into hip fire, it can say, okay, you've fired a lot of shots at this point, enough to the point where if you do come out of that over the shoulder zoom, your hip fire is going to remember that all of that accuracy that you've gained, and you're going to stay at a very tight place. It takes a lot of bullets. You can see when you're just hip firing from base and you're trying to bring that crosshair, and it takes a lot more bullets than it would if you're aimed over shouldered, which is why it's good. And I recommend that you can, if it's possible, start with the gun aimed over shoulder, get your shots fired, and if there's still a lot of more action after you get that first down, you can safely back out into hip fire, and you're going to retain all of that accuracy, and you're going to rock and roll with it for sure.
Awesome. Now let's go ahead and swap to the Claymore. This is, we'll touch on this briefly. This is something that, the beauty of creating rogues.
Just look at this scene. Look at these two just big, beefy men. with their 8-foot grid swords.
The beauty of creating rogues is that, you know, you're working with all of these amazing people inside of the dev team. And when you're going through the iteration cycle, and Nick did a great job throughout this entire process, you start getting a lot of ideas. And we never originally planned for the Claymore from our original design. We were gonna use a different melee weapon or something like that. And yeah, do a couple attacks inside there, let people see exactly what that looks like. And so this is something that the team that was working on Mack felt really passionate about. And Matthew, who's one of the guys on Tech Art, put together this like full big pitch. We liked a lot of the ideas, and we carried it through. And we got something pretty awesome out of it. And I'll let Nick talk about a little bit more of the specifics of the sword, but this to me was one of those moments where I realized how awesome it is to just kind of do what we do.
Well, you talked about a little bit earlier, like we lay down pillars that this guy is going to follow in his gameplay, but his personality as well. He's a Scottish of Scottish descent, and so the Claymore was a natural fit. It is a sword that is also of Scottish descent, and ever since you see that Justicar logo, I'll try and back up the cameraman. You can see on my pauldron, you can see the Justicar logo there. It's got a big old sword plunged through the globe. And that was a theme that we kind of wanted to hit on. We wanted to make sure that we worked a sword somehow into this character that was early on. The code name was Paladin, right? So it's a Paladin. It's a giant sword logo. It's so easy to just kind of rock with that. Everybody was super excited about it. And so we started with the Claymore, and we wanted Paladin to be a big guy. We wanted the Claymore is obviously it's a great sword. It's two-handed. So the animation team rocked with some brand new, you can kind of see this lunging two-handed stab. Looks really, really cool. Brett's been messing me up with it a little bit, but this has a completely new animation set. It swings a little bit slower. It hits a little bit harder, and it hits in a larger area than every other melee weapon in Rogue Company. So you're sort of trading off swing speed for this massive hitbox, as well as once you start to upgrade this thing, you can reach levels of damage that no other weapon can. Not a crazy amount. The baseball bat can get to 65. The Claymore can get up to 70 with the upgrades. But it's just so damn cool. It looks sweet. Everybody enjoys playing with it. It's been a very quick fan favorite. I've actually got the RGB weapon wrap attached to this guy. It's looking real clean. Battle Pass 2, shout outs to that. Tier 45 reward, looking really good. It actually changes the color of the blade as well. Gives it more of that kind of like stainless steel look as opposed to that kind of carbon fibery finish that the base has. So very cool route to go with this.
All right, so we've covered the weapon. You guys have seen the loadout from what we've been talking about. Let's get into the two big pieces of the Rogue. Let's start off with the passive, which is called Standard Issue. Touch on how that works, and then let's move very quickly into the ultimate, or the ability, the light bomb.
So if you were paying attention, you noticed that our cameraman here started the game with 25 armor, and that is his passive Standard Issue. It's the same amount of armor that your Headstrong perk is going to provide to you, but of course you get it just at the start of the game. However, the key here is that you can't repair this armor of your own volition. You have to actually score a down. However, when you do score that down, that armor is going to repair instantaneously.
Yeah, so Nick, turn and slash the cameraman real quick. So that also works.
Got himself.
He gets it down, immediately gets the armor back inside of here. And now this is huge. I mean, this is how Mack is able to hold down a site by himself throughout the entire duration of the game. You know, that's a big thing that we look for inside of Rogue Company, especially with our defenders, is, you know, we're a 4v4 game. Inside of Demolition, we need to have the ability for one person to be able to lock down a site.
That's right. And this guy, it's almost a different flavor of a life drain, if you will. It's not as much effective health as a life drain would be, but you get it instantly and you can take it with you, right? If you score that down, you're good to go. You have that 25 extra armor until your next fight begins. It's really, really helpful for when you're trying to stop like a Death Ball 3 or a 4-man push. The Claymore is a great tool for that. The Conviction is a great tool for that. Having those penetrating rounds, I believe it's on the upgrade, the penetrating rounds for the Conviction, but a lot of good ways to stop an enemy team in their tracks. And that's a perfect way to kind of lead us into the ability, the crown jewel, if you will, of stopping the Death Ball. And it's like we said, keep in mind, it's non-lethal here, but this thing, it certainly packs a punch. So he's going to slam this one down. Obviously, you guys can see this device start charging up. You can see the radius indicator is pretty big. Let's actually take this one. Let's take this one, Brett, to a more open field, I think, where we can get a better view at just how big and glorious this radius can get. We'll do it over here. This looks like a pretty nice open area to rock and roll with it.
And now and so what you just saw right there pop up as we transition over here is that we've updated our hit feedback. So when Mack gets this ability off, you know how many people have been flashed as it pops up, and you're going to see this here. So go ahead.
That's right. So he slams it down. You start to see this radius build up. This blue ring indicates to you as well as to enemies whether or not they're standing inside or outside. You can see this little UI widget is going to live with you to tell you how soon it's going to go off automatically. However, you can press the ability a button again to fire it early at any point in the duration. And you can see that flashbang effect hits all the targets involved. This was some new work that we did. This is applying to all flashbang effects in Rogue Company, but it was really important to us that we get it for this light bomb, because it's very, very probable that you're going to be hitting multiple targets with the light bomb. So you want to know exactly who is flashed and how you're going to play around that situation. So not only do we have this sort of bright white light attached to all of the players, the enemy players that you blind's eyes, but we also have, of course, that hit indicator beneath your crosshair to tell you how many people you've hit, because you can see this thing kind of flies into the air a little bit. So playing out a combat situation for you, right? Brett could be, you know, behind this little piece of medium cover here, knowing there's lots of people stomping through, trying to assault his area. He needs to stay hidden. He doesn't really get that opportunity always to see exactly who's getting flashed. So he might be having to push a blind corner, knowing there's a certain amount of enemies blinding, but this is just all little pieces that we want to rock and roll with to help you guys understand exactly who you're hitting and who's being affected. So I'm going to slam my light bomb down now and show you guys what it looks like to be hit by this thing. You can see this little red light bomb indicator showing our cameraman he's in danger. He's going to be hit by this light bomb. What is so cool about this thing is it will update dynamically. As you enter and exit the light bomb's range, it will let you know by proxy of it being red or white whether or not it can actually trace to your character and land that hit. So all you need to do when you're playing against this guy, you need to be just glued to that indicator. If it's red, you're in trouble. If it's white, you're good to go and you're not going to be blinded.
Excuse me. So, Nick, could you go behind that full cover in the back? And,
I'd love to.
And then just use this on stealth. So here's one of the best parts about this ability is that when you place this, it shoots a mortar effectively up in the air about 4 meters into the sky. And so right here in this scenario, normally, you know, there's nothing going on. So Nick, go ahead and use the ability.
Mine's down. What's that command? Give chaos points.
Space 5,000.
Huh, it's not working for me.
One word. Give KS points, all one word. Space 5.
Oh, that's all one word. Gotcha.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
There we go.
What I got to deal with, guys. So, right here, you can see that it's red and he's in trouble. So if you move to the right real quick, Brett, like to your right, your other right, you're going straight to the right. Cool. It's now white. Now move back into the red to the left. Oh, Nick, go ahead and use it again. That's kind of showing off the indicator. But the big piece here is that when Nick throws this down behind full cover, and there's a lot of situations in all of our game modes and in all of our maps where you're behind this, you see the enemies are pushing up. Nick pops this. The device is safe. It can't be destroyed because they don't have line of sight. Boom. You got them flashed. Now you're going to follow up and you're going to get the execution inside.
Yeah, and there is a height limit. So, Brett, follow me over to this area here. We'll kind of show it off. This is probably our best example. It goes up into the air a pretty good distance, but it's not infinite, right? So if I put this guy down right here and Brett is behind this piece of cover, he can actually, if he's tight against this wall, he can be safe from my light bomb and I won't be able to hit him just because of the angle of it.
Yep.
So it'll go over most pieces of cover, but there are examples like this one, right, where he can back up, right? You can see it's dynamically updating. The second he can be traced to from this light bomb explosion, it's going to turn red. You can see there's a bit of a dead zone here that he's playing with, where he is safe or isn't safe. So the main thing here is this blind is real. It's like a 5-second blind. It's gonna stink to get hit by this thing. So we wanted to make it super clear for the people playing against it. Where is it? It's gonna make a lot of noise. You got a very clear indicator of how big this thing is. And you've got a really nice dynamic indicator that's going to update and show you when you are or aren't going to be hit by it. So if you do get hit by it, I've put enough things in place, my friend. It is just your fault if you got hit by this thing. You had all the feedback in the world. You put yourself into that spot, and you got to hold that L now. Now,
let's talk about some counterplay in there, shall we? So, one, we talked about the indicator, right? And you can see it, stuff like that. It has the light bomb itself has a max health that you can destroy. Shredder rounds does bonus damage to it, as it's something that plays in the world. And Glitch, if he sees it, can also go ahead and hack it, assuming that he is in range.
Right. This is a device placed in the world. It has a fixed amount of health. It's pretty tanky. You won't be able to destroy it with just a single grenade. It's fairly easy to defend. It charges pretty quickly. In our experience playtesting, destroying it wasn't, unless the Paladin goofed up and put it in a bad spot, destroying it was a tall task. Something that I was not able to do successfully super often. It's usually either you have a lot of gadgets to burn to get it out of its little hidey hole, or kind of like this, it's placed out in the open in a bad spot, and it's very open to being destroyed. But likely, if you have line of sight to destroy the light bomb, it's likely that the light bomb has a line of sight of you and can be detonated to blind you. So
we forgot about one piece. We forgot about one piece. The final piece to the whole puzzle.
What's that?
So because it's a non-lethal device, and because we wanted a defender, solo hold a site, do the objective inside a strikeout by himself, stuff along those lines, we actually allow Mack to activate this ability when he's downed.
Yeah.
So when if you found yourself downed on a site and people are pushing you, you detonate that ability again. It goes up, boom, everybody's blind.
That's right. This is a demo. Can't quite. We'll show that off the very last thing. This is a demolition, so there's unfortunately there's no downstate for us right now because we're just in a little 1v1
here.
Get
but footage of that.
That's pretty much it. The light bomb. It's a gigantic aerial AOE flashbang that can really put the kibosh on a push here. It takes about 3 seconds to charge to full, but then it will hold its full charge for about 12. So you're looking at like 15, 16 seconds of just presence that this light bomb presents. It's a problem for your enemies. It can delay a push for a very, very long time. It's non-lethal, but good luck winning a fight against Mack. He's got the auto repair armor when he downs you. He's got the conviction, hella accuracy, plenty of ammunition to stop your entire team if you misplay there. So super excited about this one. And the Claymore. I mean, I can't wait to see, some 2-for-1 slashes. Very possible with the Claymore. It's got a gigantic hitbox because it is just such a two-handed, big swinging sword. A lot of cool opportunities to get some never-before-seen melee kills.
Super, super exciting. It's, honestly, one of the more enjoyable kits that we've got to work on. You did a great job throughout the entire iteration, my brother.
Thanks, boss.
Way to deal with it. You're forced to say that, obviously.
Well, guys, season 2, man, it is chock full of it.
It's a good one.
It's got the battle pass. It's got the new map Breach. It's got Mack. It has got skins galore, melee wraps, new challenges. We've got a new rank season that comes with bans. We cannot wait for you guys to rock and roll with this one. PTS live this weekend, guys. Please, please, please hop in. There is so much stuff for you to do in this public test. If you guys never played in one, it's time. This is it. This is the PTS you just don't want to miss. This has been the first Rogue Company update show. My name is Pretty Hair. That's been Scott Gandhi. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.